Love, Ruby Valentine by Laurie Friedman, illustrated by Lynn Avril Cravath. Deep in the heart of Heartland, in a house of oak and pine, with her feathered friend named Lovebird, lived Ruby Valentine. Now Ruby had a favorite day, and Valentine's was it. According to all who knew her, this day was a perfect fit. Ruby loved to say, "I love you," and she loved to say, "Be mine," and she loved to sign her hearts and cards, "Love, Ruby Valentine." Valentine's was Ruby's chance to do what she loved best. As the special day drew closer, Ruby would not stop to rest. With 5 days until Valentine's, Ruby started making cards. She and Lovebird sprinkled glitter. They curled ribbons by the yards. With 4 days down and counting, Ruby and Lovebird began to bake. They cut out heart-shaped cookies. They iced heart-shaped cakes. They never left the kitchen. With only 3 days more to go, Ruby and Lovebird filled up goodie bags and tied each one with a bow. With just 2 days remaining, they worked morning, noon, and night, signing cards and wrapping gifts until each package was just right. With Valentine's one day away, Ruby carefully checked her list. Then she loaded up her wagon. No one in Heartland would be missed. The night before Valentine's Day, Ruby chose what she would wear. She tried on her purse and shoes. She washed and curled her hair. When everything was in order, Ruby made a special sign. It sat high atop her wagon in red, "Love, Ruby Valentine." Tired from all her hard work, Ruby lay down on her bed. She hadn't planned to stay long, just to picture the day ahead. But when she closed her eyes, Lovebird scarcely made a peep. She snuggled up next to Ruby, and they both fell fast asleep. They slept right through the morning and on into afternoon. They slept right past the evening. They never saw the moon. And when they finally awoke, Ruby saw with dread the date. That was when she realized she was very, very late. "I can't believe I missed Valentine's. Now I'll have to wait a year to tell everyone I love them." Ruby wiped away a tear. She slowly picked up cards and started putting gifts away. That's her bird. When in a squawky voice, Lovebird said, "Let's go today."
What's yours?
That's her bird. His name is Lovebird. Ruby looked at Lovebird. "Folks won't like this one bit. It's the 15th, not the 14th. They're sure to pitch a fit." But Lovebird kept on squawking, so Ruby made a choice. "All we can do is try it," she said in a tiny voice. So she straightened up her wagon and tried hard not to frown. With Lovebird on her shoulder, Ruby slowly walked through town. She delivered cards and candy. She passed cookies from a tray. She gave out gifts and goodie bags to all the townspeople that day. Then she summoned up her courage and did what she had to do. "I know I'm so late," she cried, "but I'm so sorry too." What happened next surprised her. No one seemed to mind. They just thanked and hugged her for being sweet and kind. You've made today a celebration, so why would we protest? Hip hip hooray for Ruby! We think you're the very best. And that's when Ruby realized that saying I love you doesn't have to wait till Valentine's. Any day will do. So now she sends out cards all year that say, will you be mine? And she signs each and every one. Love, Ruby, Valentine.
She's flying.
Yeah, they're flying in her plane. Olive, My Love, written by Vivian Walsh, illustrated by J. Otto Siebold. One afternoon, Olive was baking her favorite treat, dog biscuits. Baking made Olive's kitchen feel warm and smell sweet. When the biscuits were done, Olive lay down in a sunny spot to take a nap. Now I feel warm and sweet too, thought Olive. She was nearly asleep when she thought she heard someone calling her name. She perked up her ears and listened. Someone was singing, my love to you. Woo! Olive sang along. It is something dogs have to do. It was her friend Dexter, the winged dog. A dog with wings that sings, thought Olive. I like that. He was singing really loud now. All of my love, all of my love. Olive sang too. She tipped back her head, and when Dexter sang the last words, to you, she howled, ah, woo. The song was interrupted by a thump. Olive jumped up. The fur on her back jumped up too. On Olive's doorstep was the biggest heart she had ever seen. You dropped all of your love, Olive called out. But it was too late. Dexter had already flown away. I'd better return it, thought Olive. She filled a sack with fresh biscuits. When you're going on an adventure, it's good to pack a snack. Olive hadn't gone far when she heard these 4 words. Stop! No! Don't go! Olive stopped. Stand clear of the rut, instructed a squirrel. Just then, down the rut rolled a nut. The squirrel headed up to show Olive. Now I can say hello. Hello, my name is Handler. I have more nuts than any other squirrel on the hill. They fall off the tree, roll into my rut, and that's a one-way trip to where I want them to be. I don't have to go gather nuts. Nuts come to me. And I'm so pleased to meet you. The squirrel could talk really fast. What do you do with so many nuts? Asked Olive. I count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Phew! Sometimes it takes all day to count them, said Handler. Want to help? I'd love to stay and count with you, said Olive, but I have to return this heart. Oh, let me count that one for you. 1. You have 1 heart, said Handler. Looking very pleased with himself, he picked up a bunch of nuts and hugged them. This is Dexter's heart, said Olive. He lost it. Oh, said Handler, letting a few nuts fall from his grip. You'd better return that. To you, I say, good luck and goodbye. Olive pushed the heart. Olive pulled the heart. This was hard work. Olive was tired. She decided it was time to reward herself with a treat. As she chewed on her biscuit, she heard a voice say, 8, 9, and 10. It was Handler. Olive had hardly moved. Dexter's heart was really big. Handler, do you know a horse or a mule who lives nearby? Some kind of animal that can carry something big, said Olive. An elephant would be good. Handler didn't like counting nuts anymore. He felt like helping Olive. We could take my car, said Handler. Which way? Asked Handler. Rough, said Olive, sniffing the air. Olive pointed the way. It's something dogs can do. Olive likes to ride in cars. She loved to sit by the window. They drove up the hill. Olive could see Dexter's house. It's just on the other side of that cliff, Handler said. Cliff?
What's this?
The heart is flying. Olive yelped.
Down.
Stop! No! Handler, don't go! Handler hit the brakes. The car jerked to a stop. The heart, not knowing any better, kept going. It shot forward toward the cliff, and then it froze in mid-air. It was caught in some kind of net. What is that in my web? Asked a spider. It's Dexter's heart, said Olive. He lost it. Oh, said the spider. You'd better return that. We're trying to, said Handler. Can we drive there? Impossible. No car can make it across the steep ravine. Even Dexter can't drive to his house. He flies. I wonder if I can help. My name is Weaver. Weaver began to wind silk thread around some branches. Weaving helps me think, she explained. She made a hammock. Swinging in a hammock helps me to think too. Olive thought for a while, and then she said, a treat helps me think. She opened her sack of biscuits. Handler had brought some treats too. Would anyone like a nut chew? Asked the squirrel. Oh, achoo, said the spider, sneezing. I'm allergic to nut chews. Would either of you like a fly wing? Oddly enough, both Olive and Handler were allergic to fly wings. Fly wings, said Weaver. That's it, flying. She turned her hammock over and stretched it back. A slingshot can kabolt you over the ravine. You can fly to Dexter's house. Only a very brave dog could do that, said Handler. Olive looked at the heart and thought about her friend Dexter, the dog with wings that sings. Olive was a brave dog. 1, 2, off she flew. There she goes. Thump. Dexter opened his door and saw a huge heart lying there. I've brought your heart back, said Olive. My heart? Asked Dexter. You lost it. You were singing all of my love, said Olive. I didn't lose my heart, Olive. I gave it to you, said Dexter. Didn't you get my note? Note? Nope. Olive was confused. She was staring at a piece of paper stuck on Dexter's wing. It was the note. Dexter sang the words that he had written there. For Olive, my love, all of my love, yours, Dexter. The heart is a gift for me? Asked Olive. For you, sang a voice. It was Handler. We tagged along, said Weaver. We're still attached. She held up a strand that connected them to the heart. Dexter helped Olive open the heart. There were bonbons inside. What a sweet mistake, said Handler. The new friends had a picnic of bonbons, biscuits, nut chews, and fly wings. They were surprised they had so much to share with one another. They felt happy on top of the hill. They felt like they were on top of the world. The end. Look at all those hearts.